Pughe here. Today I'm looking at double stops. This is the second in a series on double stops. Last time we did double stops on strings 2 and 3. So that was thirds. This time we're going to do double stops on strings 3 and 1. So the notes are a little further apart, gives them a little bit of a different sound. I'm playing the third string with the pick and the first string with the finger. So you can play them as double stops, or you can play them as staggered. Get a little bit of the chicken picking thing happening. There's going to be 3 chords in the song. There's a G, a C, and a D. But we're using 3 specific shapes to get these double stops. So I'm using the G chord on frets 3, 4, 5. Looks like an F chord. If we take the notes on strings 3 and 1, we've got a B on string 3 and a G on string 1. If I take what looks like a D chord and put it on frets 7 and 8, I'll have a D on string 3 and a B on string 1. And if I take the A chord shape, just only on strings 3, 2, 1, and move that up to frets 12 and 10, I'll have a G on string 3 and a D on string 1. And where this is country, we could also use a 6th, so we could put the E note up there just to give it a color tone. We could use these same shapes on a C chord. I'll start with that sort of A chord shape, so I've got a C and a G, then up out of this C chord on frets 8, 9, 10, I've got the E and the C, and out of the D chord shape up at frets 12 and 13, I've got a G and an E. And we could do this on the D chord. We take the D chord. Down here we've got an A and an F sharp. Here we've got a D and an A at frets 5 and 7. Up on frets 10, 11, 12, we've got an F sharp and a D, and we could go one more and get another A and an F sharp. So if we play a G scale on string 1, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and then we put a harmony note below it. We'd have a B on the bottom, then a C, then a D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. If we add them together, now, if we were on a G7 chord, the G7 chord would have an F natural, so it won't change the lower part of the scale because we had no Fs. But when we get here, we'd want to put the F on the bottom and the D on the top so that it agreed with the G7. And same thing when we got to this next shape, we wouldn't want that A to F sharp, we'd want the A and the F natural, and then it would resolve back into the G chord. If we took the C chord and we were going to play double stops over that, so I use the F natural there. In this style, that will be more stylistically suitable. Now I'm going to view the guitar neck as a Mobius strip. So instead of going all the way up, I'm going to jump down an octave. And then on the D chord, we can use that same trick. We can start off Now remember, we are in the key of G, so we didn't want to just take a D scale and harmonize it from the key of D. We want to take the D scale and harmonize it from the key of G. So we've got a C natural there, which agrees with the key, and we've got the C natural there that agrees with the key, and then we're back to the D. In the example, I started with a little walk down. I was going from this G to this G. So those two notes to those two notes. And used a little chromatic motion and slid into the first note and staggered them. Then jumped up an inversion to the next G, then played a C and jumped to the next inversion. Now we're right up here. We've got a G chord on frets 10 and 12, but that's that fifth. It's kind of hollow sounding, so hammer into a sixth and then move back down. Little chromatic motion. So I'd like to give a shout out to Del McCory, who pointed out that there is blue in bluegrass. Well, there's also blue in country. And we've got two notes from the G chord, a D and a B. If we go down one fret, we'll have a B flat, the flat 3. We'll have a D flat, the flat 5. As long as it resolves back in, it's going to sound great. So a little chromatic motion is a great thing on these double stops. Then chromatic it back down. Now we're going to go from a G to a G7. Now that looks like part of an F chord, but if you think of a G9 chord, you would have an A in it and an F natural in it. So we walk from a G, looks like an F, but it's really two notes from a G9. Then use the Mobius strip trick. Instead of going to the open notes, we can go to the same notes one octave higher. So we're up at fret 12. And then down to the C, but with the 6th on top. Now we're back to the G. Slide into that F sharp. And we're just going to walk down from that D. And we can hit the low note and then the high note. Up the inversions and resolve back into the G. Using this method, there are a limited number of shapes. We have 3 shapes, and one of the shapes has a variation. So we've got a shape with the root on the top. There's our G chord, 2 notes. We have another G chord, 2 notes, and we have another G chord, 2 notes, but we could use the 6th on the top. Also, on the C chord, we'd have the same 3 shapes. That C chord, grab those 2 notes, or we can use the 6th. On the D chord, we've got the D, those 2 notes, this D, and back where we started, but an octave higher. These double stops work great as fills in between vocals, as well as material for solo. So they're kind of a great thing to add to your playing. It gives you a different texture. You've got the thirds and the 6ths, and they mix great. So you should experiment with that too. So I hope you've enjoyed this video on double stops. Hope it gives you some additional material to put into your solos and fills. Please give me a like. Please consider subscribing. And I will see you next week with another video. Until then, have a good week. Thank you.